USA Track and Field is dedicated to providing a positive environment for the sport and its participants. According to the organization's Code of Conduct for Registered Coaches, coaches are committed to providing a safe sport that maintains only the highest ethical and honorable standards. This code of conduct focuses on character ethics and 4 main principles. These principles are respect for participants, responsible coaching, integrity, and honor. Going along with the concept of having 4 main principles, according to Coach K, leadership keywords are not about merely using or borrowing words. It is about owning them. Therefore, it is important to understand that coaches should own those 4 keywords to create a positive environment and how character ethics plays an important role. The first principle in which USA Track and Field places importance on is respect. More specifically, the organization emphasizes that coaches have respect for participants. This means that coaches should act in a manner respectful of the dignity of all participants in sport and should assume that each participant is worthy of respect. Coaches also should not discriminate on inappropriate considerations, such as gender, race, religion, socioeconomic status, or age. One way in which a coach can show respect for participants is to treat all athletes and participants fairly at all times. For example, coaches should refrain from giving special treatment to star athletes. Another way in which respect can create a positive environment is through communication. In a sport like track and field, the athletes are sometimes sensitive and it can be difficult for them to respond to negative and harsh criticism. This is why it is important for the coach to show respect for athletes by finding out how they best respond to criticism and knowing their learning styles. A coach can also demonstrate owning respect by recognizing athletes as individuals. A coach needs to recognize each athlete's unique talents and know what they need to work on. By doing this, the athlete will have a positive experience of working with a coach who recognizes his or her needs. The second principle that coaches should own is responsibility. Coaches must strive to maximize benefits and minimize risks to participants. This can be done through being well prepared and current in one's discipline, such as being up to date in training methods and being knowledgeable in specific event areas. USA Track and Field also notes that responsible coaching means that coaches act in the best interests of the athlete's development as a whole person. Recognize the power and the position of being a coach. Be aware of personal values. And acknowledge the limitations of their discipline. There are several ways in which owning responsible coaching can create a positive track and field environment. One way is to take responsibility for achieving a high level of professional competence through appropriate training, which will ensure that coaching services benefit and do not harm. This would include going to coaching clinics or having personal training projects. Responsible coaching also means taking active responsibility for one's own personal values along with those of the organization. A great example of this is supporting zero tolerance of prohibited drugs and techniques. This not only helps the coach be a role model, but also keeps the honor of the organization and sport, thus creating a positive sport atmosphere. Integrity is the third keyword that coaches can own to create a positive environment. Integrity means that coaches are honest, sincere, and honorable in their relationships with others. Coaches are expected to communicate with athletes about expectations, honor commitments, be enthusiastic and genuine, avoid abusing relationships, and encourage athletes to have integrity within their own relationships. Integrity can help build a positive experience for several reasons. One way is for the coach to explore mutual expectations with athletes in an honest and open manner. Having realistic goals for athletes and helping them understand how they can achieve those goals is a great way to show encouragement. Another way in which integrity creates a positive experience is by simply honoring all promises and commitments. Coaches should make themselves available to athletes and participants, especially when they agree to do so. Coaches can also support a positive environment through integrity by abiding by the rules. The fourth chief concern is honoring sport. This principle challenges coaches to recognize, act on and promote the value of sport for individuals, teams and society in general. They should respect the rules, officials, coaches, and other participants of the sport while also being a positive role model. Coaches who own honor create a positive environment for participants because they actively seek ways to reduce potentially negative aspects of sport. For example, coaches should discourage the theory that teams must win at all costs, potentially harmful training programs, and exploiting the weakness of other athletes. The less the participants are surrounded by negative factors, the better their experience will be. Character ethics is perhaps one of the most challenging approaches to our daily lives. It can be understood as being a certain kind of person and having the ability to know right from wrong. Character ethics can help create better daily environments if we can hold ourselves to those standards. Respect, responsibility, integrity, and honor are all based on character ethics and help coaches provide positive environments for others. For example, the Code of Conduct emphasizes that coaches should respect participants and should not discriminate against others. It is important to practice this as a coach and as a human being. Respecting others helps create a positive environment because others will respect you in return and enjoy being involved in the organization and being around you. Responsible coaching is another example of the USA Track and Field Code of Conduct placing importance on character ethics. This principle requires that coaches should strive to benefit society in general and do no harm to others. They should coach in a way that will not harm athletes, like proper practice techniques, and also take into consideration how their actions outside of the organization affect others. Integrity and honor are also based on character ethics. Having a trusting relationship with participants and others along with upholding the standards of the organization and society are vital to providing a positive environment and practicing good character ethics. While I think character ethics plays a huge role in providing a positive environment for track and field and its participants, I think the Code of Conduct should also take base on other areas of ethics, like situational ethics. This is important because not all coaching situations are black and white. For example, if a star athlete has missed most of the practices, then he or she should not be allowed to compete. This becomes difficult because as a coach we are expected to abide by the standards and not let the athlete compete, but we also want to do well in the meet. I think it would be helpful if the Code of Conduct included these type of situations and different options as to how they should be handled. I also think it would be beneficial if the Code of Conduct had more than 4 main principles. There are numerous guidelines under each keyword and it can be confusing. If there were more keywords, the guidelines could be broken down more and be more easily understood. Overall, I think the Code of Conduct does a good job of helping coaches create a strong and positive environment for the sport and its participants. The 4 keywords: respect, responsibility, integrity, and honor are a great base for coaches to act by, to have a strong and positive environment. However, coaches must go beyond understanding these principles. They must also own them. I believe that if coaches are able to own those 4 main principles and are committed to upholding those standards, then they will be successful in providing a strong and positive environment for the sport of track and field and its participants.